Let's go.
Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the huge controversy and drama that happened between Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers, aka D-Day Cobra, and Matt Walsh of the Matt Walsh Show and the Daily Wire. And joining me here today in this video to talk about this feud that happened between, Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers and Matt Walsh of the Matt Walsh Show is Professor Savage Dad. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not too bad. Enjoying my evening here. I'm still awake magically, and I am just, enjoying my spring break at home, spending time with the family, doing some dad stuff, car repair, smoking meat, grilling meat, making food, etc., doing stuff, doing my taxes. I got gaped by the
economy's
IRS
in a
today,
great place, is it not?
It's in such a great place. Joe Biden's like giving me the full colonoscopy here.
Oh, oof. Yeah. Yep. And also, guys, if you want to check out Professor Savage Dad's YouTube channel, Rumble, Twitter, I'll leave it all linked in the description box below. So I like Jeremy's content. I like everything he mostly does. He grinds really hard. He has his D-Day Cobra channel, the 199, Geeks and Gamers. He employs a lot of people. I like what he does. I think that's like the dream for a YouTuber, right? You can make money for your YouTube channel. You got a big audience that donates a lot of money. And Jeremy, he can be a little headstrong on the things that he believes in, or the things that he talks about, which people find very passionate, which is very good. And I've been watching Jeremy for a long time at this point, and I like what he's been doing. Matt Walsh, mostly the same way, and I think Matt Walsh is very good on the ideology I can't say on YouTube, because it's the one that causes people to go mentally insane and show off their body parts. And I agree with Matt Walsh on all that stuff. That stuff is a mental illness cancer. And I liked What Is a Woman. I finally got a chance to watch it. I thought it was really, really good. But Matt Walsh has always felt like, to me, the guy that has looked down on just nerd culture in general, anime, video games, comics, anything regarding like nerd comic movies and television shows. I mean, this guy literally had, I think, a video where he was talking about anime being satanic. Kind of reminds me of that satanic panic that conservatives had back in like the 90s. He literally had a video where he was talking about like anime being satanic. Then you know how they have those like Daily Wire all access shows where like the viewers can ask them extra questions. And someone asked him, like, what makes you really think anime is satanic? He was like, I don't know. I just think it's satanic. It's like, bruh, you're supposed to be like this highly intellectual person who gives like these facts when you talk.
He is not. That's Ben Shapiro. Matt Walsh is not highly intellectual. He's near intellectual people. I mean, what's his name? Andrew Klavan, intellectual dude, good writer, very interesting man.
Calvin's great, yeah.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro. He's an intelligent guy. You can't take that from him, man. He's, very smart dude. Matt Walsh is like a former radio DJ. How he ended up here, I don't know. Like, he went from doing YouTube videos in his car to getting picked up by the Daily Wire. And he was like a small-time contributor with them. But like, if you look at Matt Walsh, this is a weird thing about him. Mm-hmm. He looks like a dork. 100%. He looks like the dude that's going to show up to fix your computer. I know. I was that guy. I employ those guys. Like, there's nothing about him. Like, he is over projecting this sense of like chadliness that he in no way, I think, has ever earned anywhere. Like, he's that guy that like wants to be the guy, but like, look at him. He's got a small frame. He probably weighs 140 soaking wet. The guy can lift maybe one plate. Like, you look at him, he's doing a solid maybe 150 on the bench, doesn't squat anything, but he's so small framed, he probably can squat his body weight. And like, but there's nothing about him that like, but he tries to exude this, nerds are fucking nerds. It's like, no, dude.
Let's be honest here. He's probably the guy that thinks if you play a violent video game like COD, that'll make you like a mass shooter. I know his type of guy thinks
what he is. He was raised in a barn where they had a church. Like he would
Mhm.
never experienced culture. He never went outside. He like kids looked at him and said, "Oh, he doesn't know what Batman is. We're talking about Batman, but Matt is here and
Mhm.
Matt only knows who John was. That's his superhero. And hey, cool stuff comes out of ideas like that. I mean, there are people who can be Christian and get the culture very well. You
Mm.
know, Rock Comics, Remnant, doing it very well. Also, one of the things I forgot when we were talking about the other night, they're
Yeah.
like you sit here and you shit on it, but there are plenty of people out there that have had a better attempt at this than Matt Walsh. And Matt Walsh can lean on his Christianity all he wants, but there are people out there
Yeah.
graphic novelizing the frickin' Bible. And this isn't bad. I'm gonna review this one of these days. It's just huge.
Mhm.
But
So yeah, so I was gonna bring
he's
up like the Daily Wire has done things for the culture, as you could say. They've built their own parallel economy. They have their own candy. They have like their own movies they can release. They have their own streaming service. They have like a bunch of people, big strong personalities, and they can have podcasts. So they can get a lot of money for those
yeah.
guys, like a bunch of big deals. Like I'm in no way, shape, or form shitting on what they've actually been able to do. They've been able to build a sustainable business off of all their
No,
strong
they
personalities. I think
they
that's
did. I mean,
great.
to be fair though, they've had a lot of funding. They've had
Yeah, yeah.
big time Republican donor money
Big
flow
time.
into them to
Yeah.
really help. I mean,
Mhm.
this isn't an organic thing that they did. I mean, in all honesty, what
They
they're
yeah,
aiming
yeah, I
to
see what you're
do is
saying.
replace Fox News.
They've just been able to like leverage their loan donation money into something larger.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the movies they've made, I have no problem with them. Most of them are decent. The kids'
They just made the
content
kids
is
content. They've been
fun.
talking a long time about
Yeah,
making kids content. They finally did it.
it took them for frickin' ever. But I am subscribed. I don't have a Daily Wire sub, but I think I don't know if I get
I used to
a
have
Daily
one.
Wire sub if I have Bent Key. But I got Bent Key because the kids there were
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 cartoons they wanted to watch, so I got it. I was like, "Alright,
I,
whatever.
I used to have a Daily
Get
Wire
your kids'
subscription,
content."
but this was when I canceled all my subscriptions because I was just never using them at the rate that I had the subscription.
Yep.
Like I feel like personally, if you have a streaming service, whether it's theirs or anything else, if you use it one time a month, that's just not worth it in my opinion. You know?
No, it's not. That's why I don't have
Yeah,
Netflix right now. I
yeah.
might turn it back on for the gentleman, but no, I turn my streaming off all the time. I don't have you know what I've been using? Been using the shit out of Tubi.
Hmm. Oh yeah, Tubi's great. Tubi is 100% great.
Sustaining off of that and physical media right now. All day today, my kids watched, when I woke up, they were watching Samurai Pizza Cats, and then they put on the OG Ninja Turtles for a while.
Mhm.
Then they've been watching Looney Tunes off and on, like before they went in their rooms to clean or whatever they're doing. Um, they were watching OG Looney Tunes DVDs. Like,
Mm.
so
You know what's
I don't need
crazy
streaming.
is I mean, hey, unless you guys are out there buying Jeremy's chocolate and Brett Cooper's pussy jizz on the other one, you know. Remember, he's got the ones with
Is that the
nuts, and
white
she has.
chocolate bar?
God. Ugh.
No, dude, I bought the chocolate.
Imagine going up to a friend and being like, "Hey, yo, I bought Jeremy Boring's nuts."
It's I got the chocolate.
Oh
It
yeah,
wasn't that
yeah,
great. The
yeah.
ingredients were good. I
Oh,
was
pussy
surprised
jizz was
at
great.
how I was surprised at how basic the ingredients were. The
Yeah,
flavor wasn't there. And I had a feeling it wasn't going to be good because they turned that around too quickly. Like they
yeah.
found somebody with some chocolate to throw that together and
Oh no,
it
dude! I
wasn't
remember
flavorful.
it was the International Women's Day last year when Hershey's decided to put a
Yep.
man in front of their Hershey ad campaign, and then like within like maybe 5 hours, Jeremy's like, "You can have Jeremy's chocolate," I think Jeremy is great
Yeah.
at marketing and doing all that stuff. It's just I think so. I like some of the people from the Daily Wire. I don't care for the other ones as much, honestly. And so here was Jeremy's original post. Now, I've told people in this video, I'll say this right now. We're going to go over Matt's clip right here from this part to this part. So, because, I don't want to misrepresent anything, but this was the clip that Jeremy clipped out that he uploaded for everyone. And this got 1.1 million views. If that's what I have to do on Twitter
Bro's getting
to get
paid.
famous, is that you clip out a part of what these guys saying, you throw it up. That's it? That's how you get famous? So
Apparently.
here's what,
Jeremy's got that pull though, dude. D-Day Cobra's
yeah.
got a lot of people that made that. You've got to get to his level to boost 1.1 million views. from someone else. No audio. I don't hear it.
Oh, you don't hear it? Sorry. Sorry about that, everyone. Just while watching this video. Here. I know I turned the audio on. It's crazy. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay.
Is that the video
There it is. Yep.
game industry, without a lot of fanfare, has transformed into a tool of both propaganda and surveillance. It's an effective way to indoctrinate children precisely because it hasn't received much attention, and also because
I hope this is out of context because good actual God, I hope that whole clip is better. Oh my goodness,
dude,
that is just
it's just
holy
they're
mother.
trying to, he's trying to grift off something he clearly doesn't understand. And like
All
let
of
Ben
that
Shapiro
is-
talk about it. Ben's at least an actual avowed nerd.
Like all that just sounds like word salad. I know Matt is smarter than that. Oh my God, that's so stupid.
No, dude.
children spend
When it comes to gaming,
many of
I don't
them,
think he knows.
hundreds of hours a year.
No, Matt. They spend hundreds of hours daily for the most part, 7 days a week playing games. Bro, Matt, stop. Just take the L today.
Might be an undercount, a severe undercount, with this kind of content. So it should get a lot of our attention. And now
It should have got a lot of your attention before. Why is this getting in now? Oh, wait, because we've had Sweet Baby Inc. problems. We've had massive industry layouts between Sony, even Riot Games, who does League of Legends, over like Activision Blizzard issues, Microsoft issues. Good Lord.
Now, finally, that attention is here. And it's yet another reason to keep these games as far away from your children as possible. And if you do that, games journalists, literally the lowest form of journalists on the planet.
That I agree with. Games journalists suck. I can't disagree with that. Everyone, but that's Captain Obvious shit there. Everyone knows that.
Exactly. If you listen to exactly what he said, keep these games, like the Sweet Baby Inc. shit. Yeah, I'm not buying my kids those fucking games that they're involved with.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I'll keep those games away. They can play Mario Kart all fucking day long for all I care.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, not all day, but you know what I
Accuse
mean.
you of harassment. And that's exactly how you'll know that you're doing the right thing.
Okay, so and then Jeremy's tweet said Matt Walsh is the first person to highlight wokeness in the video game industry, according to Matt Walsh. This is kind of reminiscent of what Jennifer Lawrence talked about when she's like the first female action star in a
Jennifer Lawrence
movie.
at least actually said it, but him sitting there saying like, "Oh, it's gotten very little attention." That'd be like him coming out and being like, "Oh man, so I just saw this thing and I just realized that Disney's been putting chicks in movies and making them lame and gay. Nobody's talked about this before."
The comments were so fucking great. Thanks for highlighting
dude, they were
this
off the
important
hook.
issue, Matt. Hopefully people finally start talking about it. Yellow, him and many others at Daily Wire have downplayed entertainment for years. That's true. Does he think it's demonic too?
Not even the Daily Wire, dude. I'll give Daily Wire credit for being some of the first on the right to recognize it. But this take of his and this whole thing that this whole arc that Matt Walsh has just shows that the right, the new right, the new conservatives, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, they're both, him and Ben Shapiro are locked in this very 90s neocon rhino fucking right-wing ideology that I don't think the rest of the right is really there with y'all anymore. We've moved past it, but they're still there.
Lauren Chen, be nice to Matt. That's the inventor of video games you're talking. Oh, guys, today these comments were they were just going insane. Dude, also, Jeremy of the Quartering, because both their names are Jeremy. Crazy how we have so many people in the same space with the same goddamn names. We're also going at Matt.
Him or D-Day Cobra in the same room at the same time could be the same guy. Quartering's beard is really thick.
Matt quote tweeted because he responded. He was like, "I love when people just completely invent shit I've never said or even come close to saying, and then get all mad about the thing they invented in their heads."
Like, no, you said it hadn't gotten much attention. It's like, bro, where have you been the last fucking 2 months? Hell, longer than that. We've been talking about Matt, Sweet Baby Inc.
You said this hadn't got much attention. You've been living under a rock.
Like I said, he lives in a barn. Like Ben Shapiro,
I know this
shuts all his electronics off on a Friday night for the Sabbath, but like he just doesn't have any. Motherfucker's like a Mennonite.
it's like that dude that is like, hey, or they it's like that person who discovers a popular franchise and goes, man, this is really popular. When I got into it, it's like, no, it was popular before you got into it. You're just new to this, you know? A lot of people
Yeah,
have
Matt
that.
Walsh is just like, oh, look, these people are getting a lot of interactions on this topic. I could interject with my shit takes.
Jeremy said, let's play Helldivers 2, Matt. Dan Vass says, you're saying in this very video that wokeness in video games hadn't received much attention. Yeah, he literally said that. There have been literally dozens of YouTube creators with hundreds of thousands of subscribers who have been almost solely dedicated to that subject for about a decade. You didn't notice because you were busy completely dismissing the biggest industry in entertainment history and making anti-leftists look uptight losers to people who are in the middle. For an audience that's younger than 60, you're starting to become a net negative. Good Lord. God damn.
Facts.
You're
Like,
the Jennifer Lawrence of neo games journalism. Lauren Chen,
Dude,
she says, you said wokeness in video games hadn't received much attention. I thank you. I knew I wasn't going deaf at my old age at this point, which is, well, not accurate. Maybe it seems that way if you're totally divorced from gaming. It's basically like saying if someone who disses politics all the time suddenly says, gee, has anyone noticed that the left can't define a woman? Pretty sure in that case you'd be like, that Trump guy hadn't received much attention, Matt Walsh.
Oh, dude, and his like leftist, like his assistant is some kind of leftist or some shit, is what I saw.
Oh, Professor Hateen says, do you remember insulting all anime fans, all gamers, all comic fans? Yeah, you should be able to take some back. You controlled opposition. Shill. Go ask Benny Boy for a raise. Oh, damn. Professor Hateen.
Dude, Hateen went off. Professor was going fucking off on
Yeah,
I
remember
posted something.
Yes. I'm so glad Yellow Flash brought that video. Oh my God.
Yeah,
yes. He couldn't even tell you why he thought it was satanic. It was that it's literally the whole satanic panic thing that people freaked out about in like the 90s or some shit, or the early 2000s or whatever it happened. Come on, Matt. Matt Walsh blog. Clown time is over. Oh, good Lord. Oh, also, people are like, here, where's the receipts? Okay, so this one's going to be the same thing anyway. So let's go over this one. Yeah. All right, so Project Edroll put out a receipt. This was back in March of 2018, so about 6 years ago. Video games are a scared cow in this country. No, sorry. Video games are a sacred cow in this country, and I'm tired of it. Our country is filled with adults who are obsessed with them. So we must all pretend insanely that there's nothing wrong with or disturbing about a child spending all day killing people in a virtual world. Of course it's harmful to the child. This is actually straight up debunkable. There has never been
him and Hillary
what he
Clinton
said confirmed. It's
really
never been confirmed.
Agreed.
It's never ever been confirmed.
Confirmed.
It's never been confirmed that playing violent video games makes you a violent person. It's never been factually provable.
Dude, remember when Hillary Clinton was on this tip? Like hard. Early 2000s, late 90s. Matt Walsh and Hillary Clinton be like getting together, yo.
Hey, man. The dust comes out of her butthole, the cream pie. God. It's harmful to anyone, adults included, will automatically make a kid into a mass shooter. No. And nobody in the world has ever made that claim. Then why would you state above that it what? If you know that's not
you just
a
said
claim,
it's harmful, though. How is it harmful, then?
What? That is just...
It's harming him.
That's some TSO levels of tweeting. Harming? That is some TSO levels of tweeting. Oh, my God. But it is harming him. And we need to face that fact. But hold on. Wait, I'm not going down that road.
There's no facts there, just feelings.
Good Lord. I'm pretty sure people down here posted the Daily Wire article of like violent video games article thing that they had a while ago. Yeah, right here. Opinion. Remember, it says opinion here. Walsh, stop pretending violent video games are harmless just because you like playing them. Leftist tears. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. All right, so here was his video. So let's go over it. It's from what, a minute 47 to what, 2013? All right. Let's watch the full thing in context. I don't want to misrepresent what he said because, you know, you can watch an out of context clip and get, you know, however feeling.
So here's a statistic that.
Oh, sorry. You heard that, right?
Yeah, I did hear it. It's good.
Okay.
That, at least if you were born at any point prior to the 1990s, might be hard to believe. By revenue, the gaming industry is bigger than both the movie industry and the music industry combined. And for the past several years, it hasn't been especially close.
Yes.
I love that he'll acknowledge that and then be like, but we're going to abandon it completely. Like, I think as a conservative, we should give up on it and do nothing about it and let the left have it. Because that worked out really fucking well with us, with all of the culture from beforehand in movies and television and books and comics. Like, motherfucker, your thinking is the exact reason we are dealing with this shit today. It is
because they just handed it to the left
people who think like him's fault.
Yeah, they just said, "Oh, it's not a big deal. I'll just give it to them." They literally have done nothing. Remember, dude, these are the same people that every time a Grand Theft Auto game comes out, they always talk about, "Oh, we violent shootings and video games every single time."
You know, dude, not even that. I blame this kind of idiotic conservative Republican, whatever you want to call him. I call him a Republican because he's more Republican than he is conservative. But this idiotic Republican mindset where this thing doesn't fit in with my particular view of society, so I'm going to shit all over it and say we should abandon it, and we'll just leave it for the left. You're just admitting right now that this is the biggest thing in entertainment. It is the biggest fucking thing in the culture. And you just said you want to walk away from it. You're already conceding the next culture war, you stupid fuck. This is how it happened in the first place. This is why they have movies. This is why they have TV. This is why they have comics. That's why, you know, MSK and I are here shitting on crap comics. This is why all of the rest of these YouTubers are out there crapping all over these shit movies. The reason wokeness exists is because Republicans did nothing when it was time. They ignored it. They brushed it off. They didn't think it mattered, and they said we should just ignore it and walk away from it. And what did we get? We got wokeness in everything because you fucking idiots let it happen. You did nothing to stop it. So there's people out there like MSK, myself, D-Day Cobra, and a much greater extent, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, who are at least fighting the culture war fight while you guys are masturbating.
Also, to keep in mind,
subs.
Remember, people on like the conservative side gave entertainment basically over to the leftist, centrist, however politically aligned these weirdos think, to the point where Daily Wire has to make their own kids content because they can't trust that these companies can do it for you. Keep in mind, that's how bad things have gotten. You know?
Yeah, and it is entirely the fault of the people who funded them, who fund the Daily Wire. And I'm not talking the individual subs. I'm talking the people who actually came in and gave them the big money. It's the people who think like Matt Walsh and people who think like Ben Shapiro, who have these shit neocon takes. Like, I respect a lot what they're trying to do, but the mindset that they're working in some instances, like with video games, is already setting them up for failure in the future.
Because
like we are past.
What was the take that someone said
decline.
Today? You know what was the thing that someone said today, which was like, well, he's bringing it up to his big audience, and he has a big reach, and so maybe he's bringing up a topic to a line of people that have never heard about it. Okay, guys, obviously that's gonna be a good thing, but he himself, like with Ben, Michael Knowles, Calvin, Brett, all these guys, Candace Owens, always pride themselves on knowing facts and speaking from a factual point of view on things they know about. Okay, there was no point in him really giving his opinion on video games because we know he prides himself on facts regarding the Troon stuff. Okay, so he is talking.
That's where his wheelhouse is.
Yeah, so like,
stay there.
Like his influence is good, but the thing is, like, what's the point of your influence if you're going to be speaking out of incorrect information? He's just going to be giving nothing but a bunch of surface level takes anyway.
No, he's just going to give his bullshit takes. I mean, this is the thing Haitian and I were saying about his takes on fatherhood. And he wasn't wrong. Like, Matt's takes are very generic, and they work in a perfect world where he makes more than enough money for his wife to not work. And They can suss all of that out. They can have 5 kids and they can do these things. But in the real world, the regular middle class folks, shit doesn't work the way he thinks it does. And it's one of the other faults I have of his is that he sits on a very he sits in a rich person's view of the world. And it doesn't matter that he's a leftist or on the right. He isn't in touch with people. And that's what becomes kind of disenfranchising with the Daily Wire is that they've kind of lost touch with where they came from.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Shapiro was never really middle class, but maybe Matt Walsh was. I mean, he was like a radio DJ or something. I don't even know what he did.
Yeah.
Like he just looks like a dork that worked at Circuit City back in the day or something. Like and now he's trying to be like a discount.
Matt Walsh, the guy that's basically been shitting on gamers and anybody in nerd culture is going to tell us about wokeness in video games, a subject I can almost tell you guys doesn't really know much
I would
about.
rather power wash my asshole than listen to him fucking go on about culture. He has shit takes on culture. And dude, he's like Andrew Tate with soft hands. That's who he is.
Oh, God.
The difference is consistently more than $100 billion per year. So video games are a massive market, one that's mostly targeted at young people, of course. But despite those numbers, for the most part, the games industry has avoided mainstream scrutiny. You'll see far more discussion about, say, Sydney Sweeney or Taylor Swift than you'll ever see about prominent video game voice actors and directors who pretty much...
What the fuck did I just hear? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I need to replay that.
More about Sydney Sweeney's tits, dude. Until her tits came out, most of the world didn't know who she was.
Hold on.
And her tits have actually been out. I'm just talking
that again.
SNL them titties.
Okay. I need to process what I just heard there. What?
Industry and the music industry combined. And for the past several years, it hasn't been especially close. The difference is consistently more than $100 billion per year. So video games...
Which is probably why you guys should cover it more. It makes a lot of money.
This is the one thing he doesn't understand. Video games is on the incline. Movies are on the decline. Hollywood is on the decline. Nobody gives two wet shits about celebrities anymore. Do you know why we talked about Sydney Sweeney? Because she was mildly able to knock her shit movie.
Well, she had
knockers. That's it.
We talked about Sydney Sweeney because we just like boobs.
I mean, we could EFAP Sydney Sweeney's boobs. They're in a movie somewhere on the internet. Like they've been out. Like we've seen them already.
Oh, also, when you guys are watching this as a YouTube video, I'm sorry if I played it back to the beginning. I know I just heard something so mind-blowingly stupid that I had to just make sure I heard that in context.
Games are a massive market, one that's mostly targeted at young people, of course. But
that's true. I agree.
Despite those numbers, for the most part, the games industry has avoided mainstream scrutiny.
Bullshit.
What?
Also,
what?
I'm sorry, but the biggest games...
This isn't real. This isn't real. Hold on. Wait a minute. Did he just say that video games avoided mainstream scrutiny? That is bad. Your brain is fried.
This is even more proof that he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. He has no fucking... He literally saw something and he thought, I can grift on this.
Debatably, what does he consider mainstream scrutiny? Games have been scrutinized forever. What are you talking?
Dude, they've been scrutinized for so long. My first thesis paper I wrote in college.
Controversy that happened like a few months ago? We just literally had that. That literally just happened.
Dude, in 2001, they were shitting on games so much. My first college thesis I ever wrote was on the positive effects of video games on kids, or was it adolescents? I think it was on adolescents. The positive effects of video games on adolescents. And I did a bit of research. I mean, it was new to doing the whole thing, but games have been shit on the whole fucking time. There's never been a point in gaming history where they weren't being scrutinized and weren't receiving societal scrutiny.
In his own opinion piece article, you know how he says about the whole violent video games and blah blah. Do people not? Does he know that made wide mainstream attention when people made the claims that playing violent video games?
Dude, one of the guys I know that I stream occasionally with as well, who lives here where I do, a friend of his mom was involved in the getting the game Primal Rage banned because the monkey peed on its rival that it defeated, like the fighting game Primal Rage.
Yeah,
the monkey would pee. They got that shit pulled off of Walmart shelves because this mom here in Arizona got pissed about it. Like there's always been scrutiny. There's never not been.
Like that
There's not a
article
period in time he could name where I couldn't fucking point it out.
Like the literal thing he was talking about later on in the clip that we saw from Jeremy's end was the whole like violent video games thing. Matt, that made mainstream attention. Same thing you argue about made mainstream attention.
And scrutinized it in 2018 in his own fucking article. He's retarded.
Oh god, no! And once again, I apologize for playing it back.
Are retarded. But,
well, once again, I apologize for replaying it back to the first start, guys. I had to hear that again because my brain almost legitimately couldn't process what the fuck I just heard. Are you guys? So you're telling me ever since video games became a thing, they've never had mainstream media attention? Come on, Matt. You know that's not true. Come on, man. Stop it.
You'll see far more discussion about, say, Sydney Sweeney or Taylor Swift than you'll ever see about prominent video game voice actors and directors who pretty much.
No, that's just it. Dude, this is what I was saying, though. Give me a second here. I'm going to cook on something.
Hold on.
I've been saying
We
this
need
about
Michael Jordan.
Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire this whole time. Dude is disconnected. He lives in a bit of a silo. He is too wealthy. He is too ingrained in what it is that he focuses on to know what the fuck is going on outside of it at all. He doesn't understand normal people. He doesn't understand the middle class. He doesn't understand the culture that we consume, that we enjoy. He lives in a fucking bubble in some very expensive house where he's got private security before and after he was threatened, before and after he did that movie. I guarantee you he's wealthy enough to have had it. And he doesn't worry about any of this. None of this. Like, the only reason he's talking about this is because one of his producers, maybe the leftist guy who's having a complete fucking meltdown on Twitter, Greg. Dude is like,
okay, dude, we need to process what the fuck we just heard. Hold on, I need Michael Jordan.
Doesn't.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
Hold on. I want people to know this. He just said out of his own mouth that people would rather talk about Sydney Sweeney than video game voice actors. Okay, hold on, people. Remember that Mario movie you guys all like? Gamers made a very big deal that the original Mario voice actor was not voicing Mario. This literally happened just last year, okay? Prominent voice actors, whenever gamers don't get them in their favorite games or franchises tied to them or whatever game you're talking about for whatever company, Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, whatever, they make a very big deal about it. The reason why I'm using the Mario one is because I know you guys saw that movie and I know people didn't hear the original Mario guy's voice. That was Chris Pratt, obviously. Yeah. What the fuck did I just hear? That the fact that no one talks about video game voice actors, that is absurd. That is literally absurd.
It's because he's talking out of his ass. He doesn't understand this. He doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't have any facts. He doesn't have any knowledge. Like, he didn't even do any research. Like, Guy just brought this up to kill however much time on his show or to crank something out today because he didn't have anything better.
This was an extra 20 minutes on the podcast so he could get the sponsorship deliverables. That's all it was. Come on. Yeah.
Pretty much. But let me correct you, Matt. We're not talking about Sydney Sweeney. She's okay. She's kind of fun. We're talking about her tits. All right? We're talking about how hot she is. We're talking about these. Why? Because they look nice. Because we haven't seen a hot female in fucking movies for like, what, 3, 4, 5 fucking years?
Been a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Dude, Camelot was talking about that forever ago. I mean, you don't even see tits in movies anymore. He's not wrong. But we saw her, and she was hot. Good. But that's, and Taylor Swift, everyone's always constantly trying to fucking bring up Taylor Swift.
I just can't believe we just heard this guy talk about that more people would rather talk about those celebrities than video game voice actors. No. Okay, so on any given day, any of that can be applicable, how do you even quantify that? Like that's such a generic surface level thing. Like, yeah, at any given moment, there might be more people that talk about Thinny Sweeney's tits than a video game voice actor. Well, it depends on which fandom you're in.
I would rather talk about Akira Toriyama's effect on animation and culture writ large more than I'd like to talk about Taylor Swift. And you know what? Even Sydney Sweeney's tits. I mean, I've seen them. They're grade A. But
they're pretty good.
Good
Lord.
There's what, 10 minutes I could get out of that. So
here's your present, Matt. Here you go.
People smoke crack, and you shouldn't do that.
Oh Lord.
No one knows anything about. Everyone's heard of Lionsgate or Paramount, but almost no one's heard of studios like Don't Nod Entertainment, for example. And that's...
Is Lionsgate even still a fucking studio?
It is.
Paramount's about to be fucking sold, dude.
Paramount literally has a for sale sign. Okay, so I'll admit, I don't know that exact studio he's talking about. You know why I don't know, guys? Because there's many other game studios that I know about.
There's tons of game studios.
Wait a minute.
Because it's so easy to start your own fucking studio.
Weren't gamers? This just happened this year, about a few weeks ago. Rocksteady and Suicide Squad. Gamers literally were talking about Rocksteady, which is a game studio owned by Warner Brothers, a big major movie corporation that Matt mentioned in that type of thing. Well, Lionsgate and Paramount would entail to Warner Brothers. You guys understand what I'm saying? What are you talking? Bruh.
No, he doesn't even understand. He doesn't even know. He wouldn't even know that movie studios own game studios. Like, he has no idea about this. Again,
Matt, do you know that
he doesn't know?
Matt, do you know that Warner Brothers owns video game studios? Do you know that Microsoft has video game studios? The very computer you're probably using there is Microsoft related, has video games attached to it. It's called the Xbox. It's been very popular for a very long time, from what I heard. What the fuck?
Yeah, no. Even worse than that. I'll go back to a point he was making earlier about how most games are targeted at children. Like, motherfucker, tell me the top 5 biggest games, the biggest selling games in the last 5-10 years. Most of that shit has been aimed at adults, dude. GTA.
Most of it's mature games. Like Call of Duty's mature.
Adults.
And that's the thing. Let's be honest here. That mature discussion that people have with like video games, violent games make people violent. That came from like Call of Duty, for being honest here. Call of Duty is a mature game. You can't buy that if you're 13. You're not supposed to.
Nope. I mean, kids' parents will buy them that shit. I'm not one of those parents.
What's the company that does the Grand Theft Auto games? Isn't it Rockstar? Oh my God. You know, he just brought up more people would rather talk about Lionsgate and Paramount. Matt, people literally talk about video game studios. The reason why Matt just mentioned probably a buttfuck one that no one even cares about nor knows even.
That's exactly what he did. In order to make sure he was making his point, he had his producer find him a bullshit obscure studio no one's ever heard of.
I've never heard of that studio ever. And I know a lot of them.
It may not even be a real studio. He may have just pulled it out of his ass like the rest of this.
It might be the dildo that Jeremy Boring put up his butt when they were butt fucking each other in that gangbang with Michael Knowles and Calvin, and maybe Brett Cooper was taking it all up in her butt. But I need to watch it at that point.
Significant because these no-name studios are behind the single most coordinated effort to indoctrinate millions of children through entertainment that's ever occurred in this country. This effort is maybe more powerful than the teachers' unions, if only because these propagandists mostly work in secret. Even if you
It's not working, Matt. It's not in secret. They announced this stuff. They literally announced it on social media where you're at. It's on their website. What are you talking about?
The only reason it appeared to be secretive is because nobody looked at their website. Nobody picked up on it. And it was people. Some of the first people I heard talking about it were people within our circle. Like, it wasn't major media or anyone else. It was people like that we're probably 2 or 3 people removed from. The first time I saw it come up was under Melee Games was talking about it. And it's like, and Side Scrollers brought it up, and like everyone else is trying to fucking glom onto it now. But like, no, it was small scale YouTubers that picked up on this shit first, that found it out and exposed it. And then it blew up.
Comics brought up that Warner Brothers meeting about DEI. Like, Matt, no, people know this stuff. It's not, actually, they're not making
it Matt Walsh doesn't know this shit. It's like Matt Walsh is
like
the caveman that went outside and discovered fire after somebody had already lit it.
You know, later on in this video from the clip we saw from Jeremy, he mentioned games journalists. Matt, those games journalists are the ones bringing it up every day quite consistently.
Homeschool your children. They're not immune to it. You might have heard of something about one of the companies behind this indoctrination effort called Sweet Baby Inc. or SBI. And in a moment, I'll get into the details about what exactly that organization is doing and who's helping them do it. But first, I want to get the good news out of the way, which is that if there's any silver lining, it's that this effort to indoctrinate children is incredibly ham-fisted. Some of the dumbest people in the world are behind it.
Matt, we know what Sweet Baby Inc. is. They literally made it abundant.
Yep.
Trying to be sneaky. Everyone found it out. There's no secrecy. They're not in some freaking KKK secluded house being like, we're gonna get that gamers. No, they're literally outside with their dicks hanging out, being like, hey man, my dick is out, my whole junk is out. No, and we're like, hey, and we're just sitting here going like, hey, put it away. I'm just saying, like, Sweet Baby Inc. is not being secret with this. Their employees quite literally have been making it apparent about their diversity quota bullshit. What are you talking about, man? Yeah. Oh my god.
No, it's ridiculous. And he's missing this is the other thing that I like what he just said there about how it's even more nefarious because you're not immune to it even if you homeschool your kids. It's like, motherfucker, yes you are. This is how I know he probably doesn't really practice what he preaches. Like, motherfucker, you don't look at the games your kids play, you don't look at the rating, you don't do any research on this. Like, I can do this. His kids don't I'm just a regular fucking guy.
I'm pretty sure he's mentioned, because I've been following for a while, I'm pretty sure he said he mentioned, someone asked him, what does his kids do for fun? He said they don't play games or have games on their phones, I think. I don't know what they do, honestly.
Well, they probably don't have phones, but like still, you can just look and see what the hell games you're buying your kids. If you don't do that, what are you doing? What games are you buying your kids, Matt? Are you buying them woke board games? Like, you don't fucking know that. That shit's in board games too, buddy. It's everywhere, man. You can't avoid it, at least the way you guys sell it to us. But yes, you can avoid it. Even if you do homeschool your kids, you just don't buy your kids games made by these people. Go buy them shit from Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't do this
Nintendo
shit. Nintendo don't give a
nothing fuck. Nintendo does. I have to respect Nintendo on that aspect. They've done nothing but pride themselves on delivering the gaming experience through and through.
Nintendo is a more child-safe, child-oriented brand currently than Disney has been in the last decade. Changed my mind.
Something. Yeah.
So take that studio I just mentioned, Don't Nod Entertainment. They're behind the very popular Life is Strange video game series, which has been played by tens of millions of people. And to give you an idea of how overt the propaganda is in Life is Strange, here's just one mercifully short sequence involving, what else? A racist white guy. There's some.
Also, people have been complaining about wokeness in video games. You could even use early examples, like a few years back with The Last of Us 2 that people brought up. I've never played those games.
Dude, Last of Us 2 was like one of the really big ones. I mean, dude, Gamergate 1 wasn't fucking like yesterday.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Some backstory about how he kidnapped an innocent Hispanic kid or something. And then this, watch.
Gonna tell the police you kidnapped me.
Nice try. But I know who you are and what you did in Seattle. I saw it in the paper. Maybe I should call ICE to make sure you're a citizen.
You hillbilly. I'm American.
Watch it, punk.
Yeah, fuck them illegals.
Whatever. You're going to jail for this.
Pretty sure the local police will vouch for me over a thug like you.
Where's my brother?
Wish I knew. Little took off. I'll find him. Don't worry.
If you touch him...
You think I'd hurt a little boy? Guess you didn't have any second thoughts about leading him out into the middle of nowhere, though. That's real safe for a little kid. If he's lucky, he won't end up like his criminal big brother.
Just let me go. Please.
You're the reason we need to build that wall. You hold tight.
Game is this?
I get what he's saying for that part. That's pretty freaking cringe and too on the nose, but
dude, well, of course it was. It was written by fucking Sweet Baby Inc. Everything they do is cringe on the nose. That was trash.
Terrible. Yeah, that was terrible. Like, okay, that I agree on.
Now, I guess I lied. I said that it was mercifully short, but that felt like 3 hours long. And I will say also that this is, neither here nor there. Well, maybe it's not, but when I obviously I don't pay much attention to video games. When I started looking into it,
what?
Of course, at least It's a cat out of the bag.
Matt just right there says, I don't pay much attention to video games. Matt,
No
then
shit.
why do you have a segment about it on your podcast? What? Oh my goodness. Oh my God. He just said, I don't pay much attention to video games. Matt, please, for the love of God, tell me why you have a segment about video games on your podcast if you don't pay attention to it enough. When you and everyone at the Daily Wire always pride themselves on facts, we're very knowledgeable about these things.
Grift. That's why.
Oh my
Andrew
God.
Craven at least actually plays video games. The old man. They should have had him do this fucking segment.
The story we're talking about now and watching some of these videos, I was like, I sort of expected the graphics and just the overall quality to be better now. And then
why would you know?
That's
Why
an
would you
old
care
game.
or know? You don't play games.
He doesn't know. That's an old game.
than it is, because really low quality all around. But
yeah, Sweet Baby Inc. Low quality is expected. Have you seen the Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady,
Also,
that
when
gaming
did this
studio
game come out?
that he said? I mean, Matt, have you seen Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League? That looks like crap. At least from the cutscenes. I haven't played the game, so I can't speak about the actual gameplay. I can only speak about the scenes that I saw. Keep in mind, Rocksteady did Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, not the Rocksteady that did the Arkham games, because those original people left. Matt also said earlier that no one talks about these other big gaming studios. Matt, yeah, we did. That's happened like literally about a few weeks ago.
he says
that
we
game
need to
came
build
out
a
in
wall.
2015. That game's a fucking decade old. What an idiot.
White racist kidnapping the innocent Hispanic boy. And this is a game that, if Wikipedia is to be believed, received generally positive reviews upon release.
Matt, no one takes Wikipedia seriously outside of like
seriously,
very few things.
Even he can't be so stupid. I mean, he's supposedly on the right. He should know that Wikipedia is bullshit. That's also another institution captured by the left. Maybe y'all should fucking do something about that.
Critics praised the story. So we can conclude that the bar is...
Critics praise the story, but what do actual gamers feel about it? You know, the word of mouth from actual gamers, not critics who... Wait, guys, game critics...
Critics are fucking meaningless.
Critics
Everyone's
are worthless in the grand scheme
You're
of
a
things.
critic. I'm a critic. We can all be critics now.
Incredibly low in this entire industry. All the developers...
Like, if you're trying to say the video game industry is a joke, I could have told you that. I could have told you that for free. What the
developers have to do is beat their audience over the head with rote left-wing propaganda, and their game will be well-reviewed and well-received. The more recent game, Suicide Squad, is another prominent example. They decided to write a story about Batman's toxic masculinity, which ended with a girl boss shooting Batman.
And every gamer shitted on them for it. And they didn't buy the game to the point where the company literally said in an earnings call, it disappointed them. Just point it out there.
Spoiler, apologize for that. Should have warned you. Anyway, here's part of that sequence.
You had a good run, Brucey. Flying around Gotham, punching bad guys, cleaning up the streets, causing long-term mental and emotional damage to everyone you knew. It's all
stand-up. But the point is that these clips were all over the internet because of how awful they are. They're just terrible in every way, even just from a quality perspective. Again, they're bad, even if you happen to agree with their politics. But the fact remains that for children of a certain age, the propaganda doesn't need to be subtle. All they got to do is present it to children, and it can be effective.
Children
That's why
aren't
some
playing that fucking game, though. Like, why does he go right into the children? My children. Children
ain't buying that game?
Playing that game, or shouldn't be. They're not buying it.
They can't buy it. They don't have the money.
Stop parents from being lame and retarded and giving their kids games like that. But
yeah,
kids, that's not a kid's game.
And Matt, that game sold so bad that people would rather go play the other one before it. The one that was considered not the best one in the series, debatably, with the other one before that was just Arkham Origins. So gamers definitely know what's good or bad, objectively to some sense, to not support it.
Platform Steam decided to figure out exactly who's putting this garbage in games and why. And they found that the company I mentioned earlier, called Sweet Baby Inc. I have to say, no relation to the Sweet Baby Gang. I swear off any association. I would file a lawsuit for copyright infringement, if not for the fact that I don't have a copyright. And also, Sweet Baby Inc. existed first, technically, but never mind that. Anyway, these people on Steam found that Sweet Baby Inc. has contracted with major publishers to push the principles of DEI in video games as aggressively as possible. Sweet Baby Inc., or SBI, worked with the developers of the game I just showed you, Suicide Squad, and they've also had a role in several other major releases recently. On their website, SBI boasts that they're committed to installing principles of diversity into games, and they do it forcibly. In fact, the founder and CEO of SBI, a woman named Kim Belair, recently spoke to game developers and instructed them to threaten their companies unless they comply with Sweet Baby's DEI mandates. Watch.
Yeah, and DEI is trash. Like, we all know this garbage, what they're doing to the video game industry, you know? And the thing that people need to understand when watching this, and people are going to be like, well, if these movie companies make a lot of money, then why do they need Sweet Baby Inc. and all these other companies? Guys, this is the trick. Here's the lowdown. Here, I'll give you some knowledge. Warner Brothers, Disney, Paramount, Lionsgate, I'm pretty sure I'm missing someone in there, Universal. Let's just say this. Think about this. They're not using their own money to finance most things. They use their money to take out loans, okay? So, who pays them? Investors. They use their money. They don't use their own money. They use other people's monies. They sold shares in their companies to other people so they can, obviously leverage all that cost out, So if Sweet Baby Inc. is coming in or DEI is coming in being like, hey, we'll leverage all this cost for you, of course they're going to take it because they're not using their own money for it. Someone else is going to pay for it. It's like constantly keeping a gravy train moving that you don't have to pay for, And since they don't want to make the upfront cost out of their own money, they're going to have companies come in and do that, like BlackRock, Sweet Baby Inc., DEI. Okay? There's a reason why these companies have these stuff installed, and to the point where it's weird because if these employees get fired, they'll just sue them for discrimination or whatever, and they'll take a big chunk of their money out. I just don't get it. It's just something that you guys don't understand. That's what happens. These guys are, this is I don't want to say a Ponzi scheme, but there's a lot more to this than just on the surface, guys. Like, they don't spend their own money. There's a reason why they put their monies in movies. You want to know why they put their monies in movies? Is because when you get taxed, the more things you have liquidated into other things, they can tax you less, actually. That's why. As if you're a billionaire, that's why billionaires have charities. They can divert their profits into a charity so they don't get taxed for it. It's very simple. Yep. Why would a big corporation like Warner Brothers or Disney not do that?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
If you're in development and you are part of like that dominant voice, you're like a cis hetero white dude or just adjacent to that.
Oh, of course, it's from fucking San Francisco.
That looks like a cis hetero white dude right there.
Good Lord. That didn't even look like a LaQuisha. Is this a LaQuisha or a Shaniqua?
I don't even know if that hair is real, but she's whiter than me.
That, do not wait until the end to call your consultants. Bring them in at the beginning, and instead of asking them, hey, is this very racist thing we did very racist? Or is this deeply offensive thing we did deeply offensive? Are you hurt by it? Ask them what they want to see. Like, ask them what would thrill them, what would bring them joy. And if you have a team lead, put that request to them very, very early. If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Yeah. That's why everyone considers these people trash. That is the prime example of garbage. Basically forcing companies, no, we're going to force you to accept our diversity, marginalized groups, and all that. Fucking garbage. Gaming, not just the esports industry, the gaming industry is trash. You companies should be ashamed of yourself for letting garbage like that in. Like, look at what she just said. She basically said, we'll kind of force them, bruh.
We'll make them.
So this is how DEI works in every industry, of course. The goal is not to improve the company's product in any way. It's to blackmail companies and threaten them into submission.
Well, it's technically not blackmail, Matt Walsh. They signed contracts. I mean, No,
they want to do it anyways. The companies want to do it. They just want an excuse. Oh, consultants.
And in this case, they're just saying it out loud. Pay the DEI tax or we will destroy you. Only in the games industry, where everyone is dumber than they are in every other industry.
Bro. Okay. So Matt, you said it right there.
Yeah. Tell me the last time the game lost nearly as much money as Disney has Tell me the last time a studio stayed in business and made as many bad decisions about their content, about their art, about their creative process as Disney has. There isn't one. There isn't a fucking game studio that exists that has been able to somehow magically eat a loss like Disney has this year. Tell me, tell me a game studio that has managed to put out flop after flop after flop after flop after flop after flop after flop and stay alive. Bullshit. It isn't because Disney is smart.
He just called most every gamer dumb. Matt, there are gamers on this planet that make more money than you'll ever make in your life. You know that guy. You know that guy Ninja makes quite. I know esport players that are millionaires.
Here's a more important part. A more important part to Matt and the Daily Wire. Guys, there are gamers out there right now who are more relevant than you will ever be because you've dismissed them. You will never be as relevant as these guys out there, as fucking Dr. Disrespect, simply because kids are watching these guys. You'll never be as relevant as PewDiePie in the future. Your model and your ideology is on the decline.
Isn't Pokimane considered a gamer to some extent? Pokimane's more like known than some of these guys are.
Oh yeah, seriously. Like, well, dude, Preston Games is more known by kids than these guys. The fucking Unspeakable, another Minecraft tuber from back in the day who's made it huge. These guys are everywhere. Like that Preston is on fucking Hulu, guys on Amazon, guys still on YouTube, guys on fucking Tubi. Like they're everywhere. They're on every streaming platform. They're getting paid. And I've watched their content. It's not bad for kids, really. Yeah. There's no DEI shit in it. They're just
dude. If we're gonna be honest here, Matt, if gamers are stupid, why can you make a living doing this then? There must be some smart people there by that logic. I mean, there's a good amount of them. They get paid like 6 figures to sit on their ass and just play games.
It is the biggest entertainment industry ever in existence, and that's not because people were stupid. Matt is sitting here sounding like a communist at this point. Like, oh, video game people are stupid. That's why they've made so much money, because they're stupid. Like, no, motherfucker, it's because they had merit. They succeeded on the merit. They provided a medium and content that people want en masse, more than they want Daily Wire shit. That's why they're more successful than you. That's how the free market works, you idiot.
Yeah, do they just come right out and say it as directly as that? Along these lines, as you might have guessed, so-called games journalists are somehow even dumber than journalists in other industries, too.
Matt, thank you for telling us something we have known for decades. Games journalists have been trashed forever. Kotaku.
The sun comes up in the morning. Matt Walsh.
Which, I mean, is really, really saying something. They're just completely unable to hide their real goals or display any hint of subtlety whatsoever. For example, in response to clips like this surfacing, games writers have produced several articles portraying SBI as the victim of a harassment campaign by which...
Yeah, and those gamers you called stupid have all pointed out how bad that was. That Steam guy that was getting harassed by Sweet Baby Inc., gamers called them out.
Even worse about that, about what Matt had to say about that Steam guy. He said, a person on Steam discovered this. Like, no, motherfucker, small scale YouTube video games critics discovered this shit. Not that guy on Steam came after. He came because small scale YouTube people and then up through the larger scale YouTube people started talking about this months ago. Then that guy on Steam made that account aggregating it. And Sweet Baby Inc. lost their shit over it. They tried to cancel him, and it failed. And
a bunch of games journalists
even bigger. It's Streisand affected.
A bunch of games journalists coming out trying to get that guy canceled, and a bunch of gamers you called stupid called him out and made this apparent to the point where maybe he was wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone's going to watch this video. Sweet Baby Inc. Their website wasn't working for a few days. They were getting just bombarded with people telling them how shit they were. We literally had a journalist from Kotaku, that one white lady that said, you can't be racist to white people. Then having a cope meltdown on another podcast saying, oh, it's just people with anime avatars. Gamers made her lose her mind because gamers went, you're trash. Gamers called out racism. The people you just called stupid. I'm just saying, are these people this stupid when they're the ones that directly called this stuff out? I'm just saying, you know.
They mean people are noticing what SBI is doing, and we know that on the left, the worst thing you can ever do is just notice. Noticing is the greatest crime of all.
That I agree with. Yeah, that's true.
People are noticing, and so that's harassment. It's harassment to.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's, you know, we've had the recent one. We'll do a video on that other one later on with the racist black girl, where she's talking about microaggressions and all that stuff. Yeah, literally noticing people is a problem.
Notice. Okay. For example, here's how a writer for the website Polygon, Joshua Rivera, has responded to people who are concerned about SBI. Quote, he says, quote, in a just world, these clowns would have their Steam accounts turned off, their PlayStations bricked, and get booted from any respectable social platform. So in the games industry, the journalists just come right out and demand that you're deleted from the internet if you dare to look deeper into their narrative or to question anything they say.
Yeah, that's why game journalists are garbage.
Yep.
So let's look deeper into the narrative in that case. In a recent
Matt, there's no deeper narrative. Game journalists are terrible. There's nothing deeper to look into, buddy. It's over.
Welcome to Gamergate 1, Matt.
Welcome to 2016. Explains that her company's mandate is to make every game political. There has to be diverse representation in all contexts, even in, say, World War I. Watch.
A lot of the time, that kind of sensitivity work results in, you know, cuts to certain things or slight changes. But what I prefer to do, and I don't really call it sensitivity reading, but I think of it as just, you know, bringing representation to something, is trying to build a narrative and a story that include moments and elements custom made to bring representation and joy to people, because that's kind of.
This is how you can tell the gaming industry is literally complete garbage. Look at what you just heard, people, and tell me with a straight face this industry isn't going down the fucking drain. Gaming, by it existing, is diverse, because if you, let's just say, played Monopoly, well, Monopoly has no barrier to entry if you're black, Asian, white, Puerto Rican, Spanish, where the fuck all these races are these days. Irish, whatever. These people in this industry are complete garbage, and they wonder, man, why are we all getting laid off? We'll make better games that don't have diversity bullshit. Fucking.
If they keep this up, dude, they're going to stunt their growth. This is the problem. Video games are on the upswing, but like, if you had Sweet Baby Inc. in every single fucking game studio and every game getting put out, it would be like you do with Marvel and Disney, and Marvel and Star Wars, anything that Disney does, basically. If the message reached every single fucking major studio and every game they put out, the games industry would be on the same decline.
It's always about the message with these people. Good Lord.
A message.
And that's kind of where, you know, Sweet Baby lands on it. And I think it's the same way when we put diversity into the past. People go, oh no, but you're just putting diversity in. They don't even feel ready because they've been exposed to so much, you know, whether it's whitewashed, whether it's
whitewashed.
Oh, wait, well, where were we at? We're at 11 minutes. Yeah, we're right there.
Yeah.
The heck? Go.
Doesn't want to.
Doesn't want to. It hates me. Sorry about that, guys. Give me at least. What the fuck? Give me 1 second. Let me just reload this page. Sorry about that, everyone. I know you guys are hearing us talk. Give me literally a second. Just give me one moment, okay? Okay, now it's going. Technical difficulties randomly in the video. I'm not editing this out. This is all going in one take. All right, so we are at what, 11? We're at 12 something. Yeah, we're at 12 right there. I think that's where we're at.
Of that happening. And for me, there are so many leaps that we already take with history. There are so many things that we decide are true, and so many of the protagonists that we choose for our games are exceptional by their nature. So why not take that further?
Oh, that's just word salad shit. None of that makes any
That's
So
all that
SBI
sounded
wants
like.
to, quote, build a narrative and a story that includes moments and elements custom made to bring representation and joy to people. And she uses the example of World War I. Well, if you're familiar with the history at all, there were not a lot of women fighting on the front lines of World War I, but they shoehorn that into their game anyway, because at every possible opportunity, they need to minimize and demonize white men. White men cannot be the hero of anything, even historical events where they were the heroes.
That's true.
Like World War I and many other historical events, by the way. White men have been the heroes of many historical events. But, that can't be allowed to happen in games because they have to attack white men whenever possible. We're seeing this at all levels in the gaming industry. Here, for example, is Danny Lalanders. She reportedly used to work at Sweet Baby Inc. just a year ago, and now she works for a studio at EA, one of the biggest game studios on the planet. And watch as she explains why she doesn't hire white people on her team, because apparently they commit all kinds of microaggressions. Watch.
Oh, I'm about to. Oh, I watched this. This is garbage.
Retarded.
This is my brain. All right, I need that Squidward meme of him throwing his brain in the trash. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm watching this garbage. Oh god! If you guys haven't seen this, please listen to this trash.
I have a team of 20.
Oh my god, and it's a LaQuisha with a fucking nose ring. Oh my god, it's a Shaniqua.
21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games.
I love these people who do these fucking meetings in their bedrooms. Like, I don't want to see your fucking bed.
And then, she's probably going to be like, man, why'd this fucking company fire me? Who made you do this video? No one made you do this.
Like, in the workplace, I don't want to see this. On the streams and shit, like here, I don't care what I see with people that I'm streaming with. But like when I'm at work and I'm like,
yeah.
And like, is bro gonna like, or Los Chicas, is someone coming out from underneath them covers? Like I'm uncomfortable that we're gonna see something that may not be work appropriate.
Yeah. Good lord.
Your team. Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team.
She says, we have all people of color, but no white people. And I bet someone's going to cap to me and say, oh, she didn't really mean that. Yes, she does, because she said it for you right there.
Yes,
Why
exactly.
do people do that? Why do people go, that person didn't really mean that. You're reading a little too much into it. She literally quite said that right there out of her own mouth. I'm not making her say that. She's saying that for herself.
I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment.
She literally said right there, white people don't create a safe environment.
On purpose.
And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
No, that's an echo chamber. You disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. No, echo chambers are very safe, though.
Yeah. Get a fucking banana, go to a jungle, you look like a monkey, Planet of the Apes 4 is coming out, and you look like one of the ape females in there. Go get a job, you fucking dirty, disgusting, fat monkey ape.
And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments.
Then why don't you hire them then?
You just did, though.
If they're not doing what you just...
She literally just said that.
I'm done.
I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying.
You literally just said that they don't create the environments that you don't like. Then why don't you hire them then? Stupid monkeys. Monkey see, monkey do. Fucking...
I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because...
There's no reason behind this. It's some racist bullshit.
They think that something made okay, but it was really a microaggression. And
what is a microaggression? Let me look that up. What the fuck is that?
She doesn't know.
It's
just a word she heard.
Aggression. It's probably some left-wing speaks. All right, microaggression definition. Okay, so here's on the screen. So I don't want to misrepresent what she said. I don't do that. A microaggression is a statement, action, or incident regarded as an instance of indirect, subtle, or unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group, such as a racial or ethnic minority. Did they just invent this word? Because I've never heard of this before.
It's bullshit.
What's the example of a microaggression? A white man or woman clutches her purse or checks wallet as a black person or Latino person approaches. This doesn't exist. This is fake. That's a fake. whatever. That's a fake word. That does
Very much.
not exist.
And no one wants to deal with that while you're trying to make a game that they love.
Nobody
Keep in
loves
mind,
the
guys,
game. Nobody will love the
Nobody
game.
made her make that video. She just made that by herself just to put it out there to get shit on. I have no clue why she made that
Exactly.
video. Just to prove, hey, you know, there's not really that many racist people out there. You guys are just overreacting. Lady Quella says, I don't hire white people because they do a word I just made up in my head.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
Fucking hell.
Now, notice that she doesn't say what the microaggressions were that these terrible
I agree. Yeah, she did.
white people committed. We can imagine maybe those nasty white people said something nice about her hair. Maybe they asked where she was
Matt, no one did that. She looks like a fucking ape. No one did that.
from. Maybe they said, hey,
You're from the fucking hood in Chicago where you heard the black guys doing the drive-bys, and they say the N-word after every freaking sentence, and they drink the grape drink. We know where she's from.
cut that line of dialogue about building the wall. It's a little too on the nose. Who knows? You know, in any event, this is an employee of a major game studio straight up admitting that she doesn't hire white people. And that's not just unethical. It's
Yes, and all those gamers you called stupid called her out on it. Just pointing it out.
Yep,
illegal.
exactly.
Okay, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. And every gamer you just called stupid called her out. You literally cannot do that. It's a law, actually.
Yep.
And it's the kind of thing that's usually left unsaid in major corporations, but it's standard practice in the games industry. Just come right out and announce it. Because you know, this is what makes people of color safe, which, by the way, every time this comes up, that people of color, quote unquote, people of color are unsafe against white people when they're around white people. On top of everything else.
Actually, that's statistically not true. I'm not saying he said that. I'm saying that if you check actual statistics, that it's untrue. It's actually more unsafe for white people to be around blacks.
It's just like factually, that's completely wrong.
That's true.
A black person statistically is much more likely to commit an act of violence against a white person.
That's true. He's not lying about that. You can go look at it yourself. Black people
these are all facts that Ben Shapiro has gone over in depth before.
Yeah, black people are aggressive to white people, Asians, and all that stuff. And do not let the media lie to you guys, being like, oh, black people are... No, black people do the crimes. And then they don't take accountability for any of them, and they blame the fucking victimhood, white people, some fucking horse shit.
And then the other way. And that's just... There's no getting around it. It's just a fact. But to give another example, also in response to the SBI story, a senior editor at the gaming site Kotaku wrote, quote, "Hi, you can't be racist against white people."
And then the gamers you called stupid, Matt, once again, destroyed her to the point where she went on that monkey without fear, who's Blur without fear. I'm just calling him a monkey because he's black. I'm just being racist myself, you know, because I can do that against my own people. Just saying. I'm just kidding, guys. Where she went on his stream to cope because they destroyed her.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Now, the people writing this garbage are true believers. They are the low IQ foot soldiers. But the reason they're so well funded is more interesting. As the former games executive Mark Kern explained this week, the cost of producing games is extremely high. It's higher than it's ever been, in fact. So game studios are looking to raise money in any way possible. And one way to get a lot of money is through ESG financing. Watch.
It's not that gamers are, upset about, oh, hey, we have some diversity in the game. It's actually the way that they go about it, with pure tokenism, with phoning in weak characters instead of creating strong new characters. And more importantly, it's about a vindictiveness to destroy the past, to destroy the IP, to ignore the source material.
Yep. Same thing Clownfish put out. They want 100%. Lord of the Rings without Tolkien. They want Harry Potter without J.K. Rowling. You guys know the tweet, actually. He's right. I agree with what he says.
And to tear apart these beloved characters in some sort of fitful rage that we don't understand and is very disingenuous. And I think that is the tremendous reaction to Suicide Squad. And this is going to have an immense financial impact. The way games are funded, you don't use your own money, even EA. Okay.
Yep, just like I mentioned earlier, guys. Remember, they don't use their own money for that. They're using someone else's money.
Funding.
They themselves are grifting, so to speak. You know.
Okay. Games are hugely expensive to make. They're upwards of $250, sometimes $600 million. It's for certain live games. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly how expensive they are. And to do that, your CFO is your best friend. you're counting on your CFO to get you tax breaks, to get you in, to put studios in regions which are financially favorable, and you will borrow the cheap money. You will get as cheap money to do it. Even EA does this. I worked with EA. We were putting together a deal where they were taking bailout money from the banks in the last financial crisis that we had, and they were applying that cheap money towards games. Same thing with COVID money. They're applying that cheap money towards games. And what has been the cheapest money while interest rates were still low, a couple of years ago? It was ESG financing. And so they're going to take this money and they're going to put it into games.
So what ESG financing entails, Kern goes on to say, is that game studios have to agree to all kinds of conditions, including hiring companies like SBI to diversify their games. In other words, what's happening here is much bigger than SBI. It's about the companies that fund SBI. And that includes a fund called Baby Ghosts, which is also run by anti-white managers who are proud of their bigotry.
Yep, sure.
It also includes the biggest institutional investors on the planet, like Vanguard and BlackRock, which own a substantial portion of gaming companies like Microsoft. And these entities are creating the incentives. The only good news, as Kern points out later in that interview, is that ESG financing is drying up, in part because interest rates are changing and there's more exposure than ever to this propaganda, which makes it less effective.
Yeah, because games, once again, before I go back to what you said earlier, Matt, the gamers you called stupid aren't buying those games.
Yep.
They're flopping. So all the money that these studios need to raise for these games are flopping because of these let's say, woke identity politic, diversity, inclusion BS they're trying to get them on. No one's buying this stuff.
The U.S. government appears to be aware of that, and they view it as a potential problem. They want the propaganda to continue. And we know that because on its website, a nonprofit called Take This labels all criticism of SBI as harassment, and they're coordinating a response to it. What's Take This? Well, apparently, according to the website, they are a mental health nonprofit that's funded by the Department of Homeland Security. In other words, your tax dollars are paying for the defense of propagandists targeting children in the video game industry. For some reason, DHS is involved. And actually, it's worse than that. As The Intercept reported this month, quote, gaming companies are coordinating with the FBI and Department of Homeland Security to root out so-called domestic violent extremist content, according.
I'm just pointing out, Matt, all these people that you were going back and forth with on Twitter, all these people with thousands of subs on their channels, these other smaller YouTube channels, we've been covering this forever. This isn't new. Just saying. You're new to the party.
To a new government report. Noting that mechanisms have been established with social media companies to police extremism, the report recommends that the national security agencies establish new and similar processes with the vast gaming industry. So what this means is that the video game industry, without a lot of fanfare, has transformed into a tool of both propaganda and surveillance. It's an effective way to indoctrinate children precisely because it hasn't received much attention, and also because children spend, many of them, hundreds of hours a year, and that might be an undercount, a severe undercount, with this kind of content. So it should get a lot of our attention. And now finally, that attention is here. And it's yet another reason to keep these games as far away from your children as possible.
Or you could just have your children play games that don't have that stuff from like the past. That could also be
Or
a
you
thing.
just use fucking parental controls for fuck's sake. God damn, it's so lazy.
You have retro gaming that people are into.
If you do that, games journalists, literally the lowest form of journalists on the planet, will accuse you of harassment. And that's exactly how you'll know that you're doing the right thing.
I don't think doing the right thing is not having your kids play games. There's plenty of games out there like Fortnite and Power World that just came out that don't have any of that stuff in there, and people love playing them, actually.
No, they're fine. I've played the games, as I do with many instances of my children's stuff, is I'll play the game before I'll outright shit on it. Excuse me, unless I've watched a ton of trailers about it, and it's just ass, and you can see that it's ass.
And this is the last comment we're going to go over before we head to this video, which was the Lauren Shen comment where she said, he blocked me.
Yeah.
Guys, maybe if you hate video games and gamers so much, you're not the best people to cover this issue. So his response was, the coverage of ESG and SBI's influence in gaming to push DEI is what's finally getting mainstream attention. Good Lord. Lord, you people are sort of touched. I'm not even going to dignify that.
Maybe you should have had somebody who fucking knows what they're actually talking about it discuss it with you. It's not like you haven't reached out to Geeks and Gamers before and Jeremy before. But
They've
no,
had
you
Ryan
want
and
to
Jeremy
pretend that
on.
you
They
know
know
what the
their
fuck
name
you're
is.
saying.
They've had Jeremy and Ryan on. They know their channel is called Geeks and Gamers. They make it pretty apparent. And I don't see why it's controversial to say that games are incredibly popular with kids and propagandize them. Okay. It's like, well, it's not controversial to say that. No one's saying that. If you told people, "Hey, video games are popular with kids," no one's gonna disagree with you because that's true.
Yeah.
Your comment is essentially projection. You're accusing Matt of being puritanical, while at the same time trashing anyone who doesn't recite the precise history of Gamergate that you feel is all important. Guys, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I didn't know what Gamergate was until you guys brought it up. I don't know what the fuck that was. When I played video games, I just like played them and just kind of like turned them off when I was done. Just being honest here. But I'll be the founder of I'll be the founder of Gamergate too. I'll do that for you guys.
There you go.
And then I can buy the trademark like EVS did for Comicsgate. Just even though it's crazy how EVS says he doesn't own Comicsgate, yet guys, having a trademark and paying for it and owning it means you kind of own that specific thing. It's kind of why you have it just kind of right. Anyone would have a brain would know what I'm talking about. One of the reasons mainstream publications don't bring more attention to this issue is how childish and frankly dumb a lot of gamers are on all sides. You are a good example of the problem. Greg, you are retarded.
Bro sounds like a leftist.
Mainstream has brought attention to this stuff. Just because you've never been exposed to it or don't remember it at all doesn't mean it didn't happen. What is this like?
Just because you didn't know doesn't mean the mainstream isn't getting exposed. Weren't Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic just on like fucking Pierce Morgan's actual television show?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, even Daily Wire is going to render itself useless at this point.
Posts kind of like this prove his point. The space is dominated by so many stupid people that they can't even comprehend the content of a 20-second clip. No, people did. It's just stupid. But this is retarded. And then I think Greg, or not Greg, Crumbs. I've actually DM'd him. He might even come on a show at some point. He was talking about like Daily Wire. He had a DM conversation with that same Greg guy over there. And it's just, Lord. The Daily Wire's Greg totally misread me. He thought I was in it for the publicity, and that I would do anything to be working with the Wire. He chose poorly. God. Winning the culture war in gaming isn't about getting your favorite pundits to grift on your side. That's just noise. Nothing changes until we make more AA games that aren't shackled by the same funding system that is corrupting AA gaming today. Stop trying to curry favor with mega bloggers and just vote with your wallets and where you put in your game time. Yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Started with Jeremy in the quartering, going back and forth with Matt Walsh on this clip here. I made sure to play the clip entirety in context, and I be honest with you guys, Matt made some ridiculous statements. I'm sorry. Even after I watched, I was like, those takes gave me AIDS. He did say some factual stuff, but some of that stuff was garbage.
No, he's got really good takes on transgenderism, transing children, all of that stuff. On that whole movement, he's dead on. He's got some other lukewarm to all right takes, but like I said, his culture takes are cancer. They're trash. They are the stupidest takes on culture that anyone on the right could have. They are on par with like crap left-wing takes. Like, they are so bad. It is hard to believe how bad his cultural takes are. And like I said, he was probably raised in a barn that had been converted into a church by an uncle or something, and he never experienced culture. He was a Mennonite. Who knows what he was? I don't really care.
I will say this throughout because we played the whole clip. He never claimed to be the first person to cover the issue. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at all. So I don't know where they got. Yeah, I don't know.
Just pretended
maybe
like nobody talked about it.
Yeah. So he never exactly claimed that he was the first person to cover it. He was just saying that these issues just didn't get enough attention, which is literally not true. That is factually not true whatsoever. And this was an article on the Daily Wire. Walsh, stop pretending violent video games are harmless just because you like playing them.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh. Oh, so yeah, man. Anything else you want to say before we head out of this video? Actually,
Do I have anything else to say? No, nothing too crazy. Just like I said, if you're going to Matt Walsh for your cultural takes and you're already lost, you have already lost the point, and you're unsavable like he is. There is no saving Matt from himself. But one thing that I really think that this is more than anything, I don't even know that Matt believes this. I think he tried to grift on something, fell flat, and he's doing what the Daily Wire always does. He's going to try to salvage it by grifting off it, by going viral, by getting attention, by saying crazy shit. Ben Shapiro just did it the other day. Ben and Matt do this like every 9 months, where they say something that they know is going to get people to interact with their content. And so, like, they must have been on a lull, or there was no better news or anything else. But I think the only reason this got brought up is because his producer put it under him. There is no point to this. There's no point to anything he said, because he doesn't know anything about it. He's simply, I mean, he is straight up grifting with that story. He's getting attention because he knew, because of anime and other things and things he said in the past, people would get riled up and all in a frenzy, and he'll get a fuck ton of interactions. And that's what he's looking for. That's all this is.
yeah, I just don't understand why make the assumptions that gamers are stupid, but then say the things that he said, not realizing, wait a minute, even though you think gamers might be stupid, and I agree, some gamers can be pretty fucking retarded, but those same
Very true.
gamers, Matt, you called stupid, have been pointing out all these issues. Everyone's been pointing out the things with the DEI, Sweet Baby Inc., the companies that back these guys. Nerdrotic, a big guy, covered the BlackRock stuff when these companies have that funding for them to make all these diversity hires and all that inclusion bullshit.
Yep.
So to say that mainstream stuff, so to say that gaming has not had mainstream coverage to a certain extent, that's just a lie. We know it's had. It's not probably has had much coverage as like a
Or
celebrity.
mainstream scrutiny.
And
It's been
mainstream
It's been
chooses.
scrutinized since fucking Pong.
Yeah, like be honest, mainstream chooses to focus more of their time on celebrities and pushing narratives. Of course, they're not going to push a gaming narrative when it doesn't boost their ratings, but when it does get enough attention, it has. Guys, you can just look at the history; it has gotten attention. It's just a lie.
Yep.
Actually, you know,
It is a lie. It's complete and utter ridiculously stupid thing to say.
Yeah, throughout, just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And
because Matt Walsh has never played a video game ever.
Good Lord. And then he also says, I don't know that much about video games. Well, Matt, we know that.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord. Well, thank you for joining me in this video, man. I'll leave Professor Savage Jed's
No problem, man.
social media in the description box below. We'll try and do more of this sometimes, e-fapping other people's garbage content. So it was pretty fun, actually. So if you guys enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below. We'll see you guys later. I'm MSK, Master Swag King.